go. Chapter 2, Part 17. Ammianus enim, for Ammianus, testudine lapida tectus had successorated. So here's what the nomative's doing. He's coming up to, the successorating, up close to a porta, to the gate. And we have a testudine here, which usually comes from a tortoise shell, but it's used for arches and other coverings of buildings. So we see it is covered. Lapidae means it's made of stone, so it's like a stony arch has covered it. He's come up to this gate, subqua, under which, as you see it's female, he was tutus. So this is an apposition to Ammianus. He's safe, he's tutus, and latens, here he is, lying hidden. Dum, while moles saxius, these are rocky masses, are being detegled, wiped away, or removed. And he inrupits, he bursts in when the urbem is nudatum, have been stripped naked, hostes, which are enemies. Julianus, after this comma, vire, so we'll just take that as more overall, but Julianus had aggressus, he'd attacked or gone forwards, to a locum patentum. Patentum's the present participle singular accusative. And so he's attacked or came forwards to an open place. It looks like he's actually attacking open places. With the Kali facies, with the face of the heavens, which is the sky, you would think. Ob umbruta, so it's covered up. Most things with ob, some sort of blockage. With fragmentis montium, so with fragments of the mountain and broken off bits of rocks coming down from the face of heaven. And missile buses. You wouldn't want to be in a bus when it's hit by a missile. Anyway, so heaven's getting covered up with broken bits of the rock, the mountain, and missiles, and so he abscedates, he absconds, he goes away. He's repulsed agri with difficulty. So with difficulty he's escaped, and he's sent back. 18. Here's raptum ac tumultuaria agatus. So this looks ablative. So with these agitations, with these activities done, you might want to say raptum indicates it's got speed, and tumultuous, it's confusing, and etc. Cum opera operositatis. So these are some sort of the workload vinaria. The vinaria is, if you look up a picture of them, they're like a shed. And agorums, which are piles. So it looks like these buildings, the vineyards and the agorums, were impeditissima. So it's a superlative. These were very impedicid, very blocked or something, or impeded. Discernit, it was discerned, it could be seen, by ceteris urgentibus, by the rest of the things which were pressing businesses. A machinam, which we would call a machine, which is cognominated, which is called a helipolis, looks like Julianus has ordered to be fabricare, to be built expeditius. So it's a comparative rather quickly. It's got some sort of urging again. Qua ut supra documus. So as we've talked about above, it was documented above. Rex usus Demetrius. So King Demetrius had used superatus opidus pluribus when he had overcome. That's what the super bit means. He had overcome many cities with this machine, as said above. And for this reason, Appellatus, this king, was called Polyorcetes. So, of a daily dictionary of testudo, which we talked about, the tortoise shell, sometimes used to make a lute, but by extension in the military, it's a covering shed or a shelter. And we saw at the very beginning it was an arch which was covering them in buildings. Okay, onward and upward. Ad hanc, to these things going on, and in gentem molem, some huge mass, superaturem, we've got a future areas, going to overcome these battlements, the minas, which we saw yesterday, of the high turrets, the high towers. The prohibitors, these are the defenders, conferenting, conferring the aciem. This is the line of sight, ocularum, of their eyes, rather intentius. So the defenders took their eyesight rather intently towards this huge mass about to overcome their battles of their high towers, and etem, and the same, perpensatens, this looks like a plural present participle. Pensating is the weighing up, so they were weighing up the instantiam of the obsidians, of the besiegers. The instantia is their pressing will, you might want to say. They were weighing up the will or the intentions of the besiegers, and subito, suddenly, verturntunter, they turned, ad preces, to prayer, and circumfusi, they were all fused out around, they were standing around per the turrets and the battlements, the minnows again of the walls of the Moenum, and with pansis manibus, with their hands outstretched, they were protesting with their hands out for the fidem Romanum. They wanted to come into Roman protection, basically. And they were postulating. It's a bit not as strong as demanding, but they were asking strongly for their vita cum venia, for their lives with venia, which means pardon. Cumque. And when the opera cessasi, that's a past infinitive, so when they saw the works ceasing, and the munitors, these are the people building defences, here's the viderunt, which is why there's an infinitive, and when they saw that the works had been stopped and the builders of munitors were temptaring nihil ulterius, they saw that they were attempting nothing further, because it was a certum indicum, a certain indication that there would be quietes, which is rest or stopping of the violence, a copiam, which is a means or an opportunity, dare sibi, be given to them, poscaban again, they were demanding, of conferending a sermon, of having a confabulation or having some sort of talk with Ormizda. Ormizda, yeah, okay. So they asked, could they have some means or way of having a talk with Ormizda. Hocque, in this, impetrato, this means it was asked for and obtained, impetrato, and so it's a ablative absolute. When this was asked for and received, Memicidus, some person, you can see it's a proper noun from the capital letter, he was the prefect in apposition, he was the prefect of the praetorium, of this garrison, I might want to say, anyway. He was demissus, sent down per affunum, that's a rope or a cable, and doctus, and he was led ad imperatorem, to the emperor, ut obsecravit, as he had asked or begged. Vita cum impunite, so life with unpunishment, sibi, to himself, and consortibus, and his consorts, his companions. Firmata, that's an adverb, so it was strengthened or confirmed. Pacta, an agreement. So there was an agreement that there's life for him and his cohorts unpunished, and this was settled. And permissus est, taking infinitive to redire, he was given permission to return. Gestus qui nuntiatus, another ablative absolute. When it was the things which had gestus, which had gone on, were nuntiated, were announced, the plebs, omnis, all of them, utrius qui sexus, and of both sexes, or both genders if you prefer. This looks like a mistype, cunctus it should be, if you want it to be good. With the acceptus, cunctus, so everything was accepted to their centennium, to their opinion, or what they had viewed for taking in this surrender. So when everything was agreed, everything was accepted. Parce foederata, this treaty had made a peace, a parce. And cum, when religionem consecrationibus fides, so they had consecrated with some sort of loyal rites of their religion, patefactus portus, and with the porters made patefactus, made open, the gates open, they egreditored. this is plebs again, it's plural, but it just takes singular in a verb. So these plebs, all of both sexes, they egressed from the open gates. Saluturem, the genium. A genium is probably a genius, or I think it's translated as an angel, but that's a bit too elaborate. So they just greeted this genius, Clementans, shouting out to themselves that Caesar was ad fullicisi, he was shining basically. This great genius Caesar was, he was magnum and lenum, he was great and he was lenum, he was soft to them or compassionate to them or something like that. Almost done for the day. 22. Numerata sunt, they were counted, autem, however or moreover. So moreover they were counted, and of the dedicatorum, of those who had surrendered, duo milia and quingento. So there was 2,000 and quingento, 2,500. So there was 2,500 nam cetera. For the cetera multitude, don't know, that's female. So for the rest of the multitude, suspectans, again, multitudo is a group of people, but it counts as a singular in the verb, like plebs. So the rest of the multitude were suspecting ante ahead of time or before that there was going to be an obsidian, which is a siege, and navigus parvis, in small boats, they had discessed, they had left, having permeato the amne in the ablative absolute. So they had permeated. Meo just means gone across. So they'd gone across the river and left in navigus parvis, in small boats. In hac arche, in this citadel, armorum alimentorum qui, of arms and their elements of things you eat, reperta est, was discovered a maxima copia, a great copiousness of arms and of food products. And unde, from which, sumptus necessarius, having taken up what was necessary, the reliqua, which was remaining, cum loco ipso, with the location itself, the victors, the winners, ex usurated. They burnt the remaining things with the place itself, the end.